This is Martin Zender here, ladies and gentlemen, and this is the highlight of my day. Honestly, talking to you, being with you, talking about things of consequence, talking about things that matter. I know how you are because you're like I am. The world is really losing its appeal. It was nice, but I'm over it now, world, and I'm ready to leave, and you are too. So here we are, gathering together in my car. And I do feel like you're with me. And that I can't tell you what your support and your friendship means to me. All right. Consequential topic. They're all consequential. But this one, the topic of hell. There's not a man, woman, or child on the street today or in a house who hasn't heard of hell. Because that's the place God's going to send you. If you don't believe in him, or if you disobey him, or if you do any number of things that whatever Christian denomination you're in forbids you to do. All right. Let's say that I, Martin Zender, decide to start an airlines. Let's call it Zender Airlines. That's catchy. Snappy. I'm a specialty airlines. I only fly to 3 cities. I advertise flights to 3 cities. I will fly you to either Los Angeles, Chicago, or New York. Big mega cities, mega U.S. cities, my specialty, Zender Airlines. Get your tickets now. You want to go to New York City? Yes, sir, New York City. Where do you want to go, ma'am? Los Angeles. Yep, I'll send you to L.A. You? Chicago. Fantastic. But my little airlines, I pull a little trick on my customers. I send everybody to Pittsburgh. That's a little thing of mine, a little quirk I have at Zender Airlines. I advertise Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York. You go up to my ticket counter, and I have a poster of L.A. and the Hollywood sign, palm trees. I have a poster of downtown Chicago, poster of New York Central Park. All that's great. But I send everybody, without telling them, they get on the plane for L.A. They get on the plane for Chicago. They get on the plane for New York. I send everybody to Pittsburgh. My clients get out of the plane. Some of them think they're in L.A. They're looking around like, where's the Hollywood sign? Some of them think they're in Chicago because they bought their ticket for Chicago and I charged them money for Chicago. They're going, where's the Sears Tower? And my customers that bought a ticket to New York, they're looking around. This doesn't look like New York. Where's Central Park? It's like, what is this? They're looking down at the Monongahela River. A little bridge over the Monongahela River. That's Pittsburgh. How long do you think my little airlines would last? Do you think I would have some unhappy customers? Do you think on day one my phone would be ringing off the hook? Zender Airlines? What the heck? I bought a ticket to LA and I'm in Pittsburgh. Do you think people would be wanting their money back? Do you think people would say, do not ever fly Zender Airlines? It's ridiculous airlines. It's stupid. They send everybody to Pittsburgh. It's robbery. It's a scam. It's not showing up well on the Better Business Bureau book. Ladies and gentlemen, this is exactly what the King James Version and the NIV and the NASB have done to unsuspecting Bible students who go to these translations thinking that they are going to go where the translations advertised to take them. Right there on the cover of the King James Version, it says Holy Bible. And the NIV, the NASB, is this not the Word of God? Is it not advertised as the Word of God? And do you not surrender your money at the Christian bookstore thinking you're getting the Word of God? And they promise to send you where God sends you. And they advertise that they're going to take you to what God said, because this is the Word of God. And yet, look what they have done with the critical English word, hell. Because did you know that behind that English word, did you know that this English word hell, did you know that this is a translation? This is an English translation of a Greek text, because Jesus Christ did not speak English, and neither Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, or Paul wrote in English. The New Testament was recorded in Greek. And the word hell never appears in the Greek, because hell is not a Greek word. But there were 3 different Greek words. There are 3 different Greek words in the Greek text that have been all translated with the one English word, hell. This is where my analogy comes in. Jesus Christ said Gehenna in several places. I'm going to take you to one of those places. Jesus Christ said Gehenna. Jesus Christ said Hades in another place. Peter said Tartarus. 3 distinct Greek words, 3 different destinations God wishes to take the readers of His Word. And yet the KJV, the NIV, and the NASB sends everyone to hell. They advertise that they're going to send you, we will send you to Gehenna, Hades, and Tartarus. But you get on the plane and you end up in freaking hell, like Pittsburgh. You end up in hell. But the key difference between the ripoff that you're getting in the scriptures and Zender Airlines is obvious. It's obvious when you're in Pittsburgh instead of LA. Couldn't be more clear as soon as you step off the plane. But it's not so obvious to the unsuspecting, casual Bible reader who thinks that they're getting to their destination. They're getting a ticket. They're buying a ticket to Gehenna. But they're landing in hell. But no one has pointed out to them the travesty of this. No one has told them that they've been sold a terrible bill of goods, that they've been falsely advertised and they've been delivered at a place where they did not buy a ticket for. I'm looking at a chart. It's called a wonderfully clear and simple chart. The subtitle of this chart is Look Who's Stuck in Hell. This is from my book, Martin Zender Goes to Hell. Here is an objective chart that is beautiful in its simplicity. Here is the advertised place where you're supposed to be sent in the KJV and the NIV. Those are the 2 versions I use in this example. Passage 2 Peter 2:4. Greek word Tartarus. Passage Matthew 5:22. Greek word Gehenna. Passage Luke 16:23. Greek word Hades. These are the tickets you buy to LA, Chicago, and New York. 2 Peter 2:4. Greek word Tartarus. KJV translates it hell, NIV translates it hell. Matthew 5:22, Greek word, different Greek word, Gehenna. Never mind, KJV translates it hell, NIV translates it hell. Luke 16:23, different Greek word, it's Hades. What do the KJV and the NIV translators do? They translate that hell as well. Look who's stuck in hell. 3 distinct Greek words, and they translate them all hell. They fail to distinguish the nuances of God's specific thought. And this is as radical as sending people who buy tickets to LA to Pittsburgh. It's that radical. You're getting that wrong of an impression. Think of it. What if somebody goes, what if somebody has never been to LA They go to Zender Airlines, they buy a ticket to LA. They've never been there, and they're being sent there by a magazine to write an article to inform other people about Los Angeles who have never been there. I send them to Pittsburgh. They get to Pittsburgh, and they think they're in LA. So they go around, they look at they got the Ohio River, the Monongahela River, the Allegheny River, and all the bridges and the hills and the dilapidated steel industry, and they write an article on Pittsburgh. Because they think that they're in LA. And they deceive thousands of people who have never been to LA, who rely on the veracity, the astuteness of the magazine that this poor person's writing for, and they simply believe this is a description of Los Angeles. That is what has happened. It's that radical. That is what has happened with common English versions that have indiscriminately translated 3 different Greek words, hell. When you go to these contexts, you get the wrong idea about what it is. I will define for you what these things are. Tartarus is a place where sinning angels are kept, not a flame on the premises. But the NIV and the KJV translate it hell. Gehenna is a valley, an actual geographical location on the southwest corner of Jerusalem. It's a place where the children of Israel used to sacrifice their children to Moloch. And it's where the bodies of corpses of criminals will be tossed during the kingdom eon. That's what Gehenna is. There are flames on the premises, but they're used to incinerate corpses. Isaiah 66 references it. Isaiah chapter 66. This is what Jesus is talking about. I'm going to go to a specific passage here. Hades simply means unseen. You can't see it. It's invisible. That's all it means. It's used sometimes of death, because where did the dead go? In fact, the Hebrew equivalent is Sheol, and Sheol literally means to ask. To ask, like where, what, who, when, why. Can't see anything. It's not just these 3 passages, but I'm using these as an example. 2 Peter 2:4, Greek word Tartarus, KJV and NIV translated hell. Matthew 5:22, Greek words Gehenna, different Greek word. King James, NIV translated hell. Luke 16:23, Greek word Hades, another completely different word with a completely different meaning, obviously. King James, NIV translated hell. And people think they're getting the word of God, and people will say, the King James Version, it must be right. And they don't bother to look. They don't bother to check on the translators. I use the concordant literal translation, the concordant literal New Testament, CLNT, because it translates consistently. It looks at the Greek word, it assigns each Greek word an English equivalent, and then it sticks that English equivalent with that Greek word, and they ride together the whole way through the Bible. That word is stuck, that English word is stuck to that Greek word. And every time that Greek word appears, boom, there goes that English word. Boom, 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 every time. Then the translators themselves have to step back and see what they've created, as opposed to interpreting rather than translating, which is what the NIV, the NASB, and for certain the KJV people did. So the concordant version has a system. And then once they assign that English word to that Greek word, they will not use that English word for any other Greek word. KJV does that all the time. They did it here. They assigned the English word hell to Gehenna. Well, whenever we see Gehenna, I'm sorry, that's not how they talk. Whenever we see Gehenna, we're going to make it hell. That's what we'll do. Oh, yes. We'll turn Gehenna into hell every time we see it. Okay, well, that's okay in a way. It's not great. Just make it Gehenna. But let's say they do that. So don't use that word for any other word. I've got this word here, Tartarus, don't know what to do with it. Never seen it before, only appears once in the scriptures. Tartarus, 2 Peter 2:4. How should we translate it?
Let's translate it, hell.
Why not? Sounds good. We translate that one out. Looky here. We got another word here. Matthew 5:22. I've seen this one a few times. It's Gehenna. What you make of that? What should we translate it?
I've got an idea. Why don't we translate that one, hell, too? Oh, yeah, that'd be funny. We'll translate them both.
But we just translated that one.
I don't care. We'll translate this one, hell, too. Why not, eh?
Yeah, but I've got another word here.
Oh, yeah, what's that one?
Hades. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, I've seen that a few times. I don't know.
How do you want to translate that one, you know? With many options.
I've gotten kind of in the habit of this hell thing. I rather like it. Let's translate that hell as well.
Haven't we already translated two other?
I don't care. We've got to get home. It's late. We've been translating all day. I'm getting tired. I can't take any more of this. Let's just translate the lot of them hell. Nobody's ever going to check up on us anyway, will they?
I doubt anyone will ever invent a concordance. That would be ridiculous. A concordance, please. I am upset about this, and the customers of the KJV and the NIV ought to be upset, and they should ask for their money back, but they don't know this is happening to them because they trust it. And when they get there, they go, this must be hell. No, it's not. It's Gehenna. It's Hades. It's Tartarus. It has nothing to do with the eternal torment of human beings. Look how the concordant translates these. 2 Peter 2:4, the Greek word is Tartarus. Guess what the concordant literal New Testament translates it? Tartarus. Matthew 5:22, the Greek word is Gehenna. Guess what the concordant literal New Testament translates it? Every time. Gehenna. Luke 16:23, Hades. It means unseen. Guess what the concordant literal New Testament translates it? Unseen. Every time. Every time the word Hades shows up in the Greek, they translate it unseen. Every time the word Gehenna shows up, they translate it Gehenna. Isn't that a stroke of genius? And Gehenna is an actual geographical location. Here's a little map of Israel I have in my book of Jerusalem. And Gehenna is a little valley down here. It used to be called the Valley of Ben Hinnom back in the Old Testament days. It's not very big. It's a small valley alongside the southwest corner of Jerusalem, a geographical location. You can go there today. It's like so many yards by so many yards. It's very small. You can see from one end of it to the other end of it. This is not where every single human being who doesn't believe in Jesus is going to be tormented for eternity. For one thing, it's too frickin' small. Okay? It's too frickin' small. Matthew 10, verse 28. Jesus Christ speaking, and do not fear those who are killing the body, yet are not able to kill the soul, yet be fearing him rather who is able to destroy the soul as well as the body in Gehenna. That's the concordant literal New Testament. That's an accurate translation that respects the words God chose. It's not like Zender Airlines that has no responsibility. You want to go to LA? I'm sending you to Pittsburgh. You want to go to New York? Tough luck. You're going to Pittsburgh. You want to go to Chicago? I'm sorry about your luck. You're going to Pittsburgh. Everybody's going to Pittsburgh because I'm lazy. I don't care. It's easier. I don't have to worry about it. I just send everybody to one place. It's easier. It's easier for the King James translators to translate everything hell. And so this doesn't sound as scary, does it? Fear the one who is able to destroy soul as well as body in Gehenna. First thing you want to ask is, what's Gehenna? Then you go to a Bible dictionary or any dictionary. You look up Gehenna, and it says it's a valley southwest of Jerusalem where the children of Israel used to sacrifice their sons and daughters to Moloch. And then you read in Isaiah that's a place where the corpses of criminals will be tossed. And Jesus warned people, if you break the laws in the kingdom, you will be tossed in Gehenna. That's where the fire was, and the worms, and the fire burned the corpses, and the worms ate them up so that there'd be room for more corpses. It begs the question, Gehenna, what's Gehenna? That's a good question. But when you read hell, listen to this. Yet be fearing him rather who is able to destroy the soul as well as the body in hell. And everybody already thinks they know what hell is. They already think they know. Oh, I've heard about that. It's a place of eternal torment. That's because all of a sudden this fiction's coming in. This Christian fiction comes into their heads. What they've seen in cartoons or what they've read in tracts put in bathrooms. And they think they know what it is. And they read that into that word. But that word has been misused. It's been fictionalized. It's been transmogoraphobic-sized. Yeah, that's what it's been. Yeah. It's been phantasmagoricized. Then in Matthew as well, chapter 11, verse 23, Jesus speaking of Capernaum, the residents of which did not believe any of his miracles. They saw him, but they didn't believe in him. Jesus says, and you, Capernaum, not to heaven shall you be exalted. No, to the unseen shall you subside. For if the powerful deeds which are occurring in you had occurred in Sodom, it might remain unto today. To the unseen you shall subside. Somehow that doesn't sound as scary as to hell shall you go. Go to hell. You'll go to hell. Capernaum, you're going to hell. Anybody who doesn't obey me will go to hell. No, you're going to Hades. You're going to Tartarus. You're going to Gehenna. Capernaum will subside in the unseen. It will be invisible. I dare you to go find Capernaum today. It's not there because it went to the unseen. It went away. It's not there. It's invisible. That's what that means. You'll subside in the unseen. It's a figure of speech because it's not a literal place. It's just invisibility. It's not detected by the five senses or any sense. Okay? That's what Hades is. And Gehenna, again, is a geographical location you can go to today. Take a flight out to Gehenna. Take a flight to hell. Take Zender Airlines. You'll end up in Pittsburgh, but you can give it a try. Now, to finish up, Tartarus, 2 Peter 2:4, for if God spares not sinning messengers, those are angels, spiritual beings, but thrusting them into the gloomy caverns of Tartarus, gives them up to be kept for chastening judging, and spares not the ancient world, but guards Noah, an eighth, a herald of righteousness. Tartarus is some place in the middle of the earth. No flames. It's gloomy. Gloomy caverns. Somehow spiritual beings are kept there, being held for chastening. They're not being chastened. They're being held for chastening. There's no torment going on in Tartarus. Remember, that's what the NIV and the KJV translated hell. They sent you to Pittsburgh when you bought tickets to other places. When people tell me to go to hell, I say, okay, I will. Which one do you want me to go to?